Superhero fatigue is not the problem. Crap movies and TV shows is the problem. Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV movie channel. So yes, I have seen DC's Blue Beetle, and I think it's fair to say they've done it again. Right, so the DC makers basically thought, people quite like Spider-Man. Let's do Spider-Man. People quite like the first Shazam movie. The first one, not the second. So let's do a Shazam type of movie. And let's talk about family a lot because, they've got 10 of those Fast and the Furious movies and they talk about family all the time.
Yeah, there's always room for family.
We're family.
Now, I know you guys are a family, so I'm offering you a chance right now to make that family whole again.
You want to make this family whole again?
You don't turn your back on family.
And let's throw a sprinkling of Green Lantern in there as well, just because that'll be a great movie. People will love that. We'll have a massive CGI battle that you can't tell what's going on at the end, and then people will go crazy and we'll make $1 billion. It's had the lowest opening weekend of any DC movie for 10 years, and that is saying something because a lot of DC movies are not very good. The Shazam sequel was a hot mess. Actually, pretty much everything they've done has been questionable. I personally loved Man of Steel, and I personally really love Batman vs. Superman.
Why did you say that name?
But let's be honest, there are massive problems with both. And let's be honest as well, Marvel are also seriously struggling because I finished watching Secret Invasion last week. And my God, what the hell were they thinking? So we've got the amazing Nick Fury, played by Sam Jackson, who is amazing. They basically decided to make Nick Fury a pathetic old man. They then youngified him and found out that actually he was quite a pathetic young man, and if it wasn't for the Skrull, we wouldn't even know Nick Fury was. And then they basically had this weird DNA thing at the end and a big fight that made no logical sense. The problem I have is that Marvel were always really, really good, basically until the end of the Infinity War saga, at just stepping up to the ridiculous but never crossing the line. They always made the superhero movie, on some levels, believable, even when it obviously wasn't. They never wandered into the realm of silly. But in recent years, they seem to have forgotten how. Ant-Man, the Quantumania stuff, danced all over the silly.
Surprised to see me?
Yeah.
Love and Thunder, oh my God, that was just creepy in places. It was ridiculous in others. It didn't make much logical sense in places as well. The jokes were just like comedy vomit that didn't really hit the mark at all. And really, when did Thor become a complete dumbass? They basically had Thor Ragnarok, for me, probably the best Marvel movie ever. It is maybe my favorite. And they just pissed all over it. And they completely said, no, people really like the humor. Let's have more. Taika Waititi, I actually think, is a really interesting director, but they let the shackles off him. They let him just go crazy with it because they trusted him because of what happened at Ragnarok. And he ruined it. Too much Taika for the Marvel. Way, way too much Taika on the screen. But I mentioned the TV series. Marvel haven't really done a good one. I would say Hawkeye was okay. It's a bit dull, but it was okay. I would say Miss Marvel, I watched one episode and couldn't be bothered to watch the rest. She-Hulk was a complete waste of time. If you actually watch the final episode and think about it, nothing happens except to unravel everything you've already watched. So complete waste of time. Loki was actually pretty good in places, but meandered towards the end. Moonlight was a hot mess from beginning to end. It was one of those TV shows that if you blinked or sort of like looked at your phone for a second or whatever and looked back up, you're thinking, why is a massive hippo talking to him? and you just have no idea what the hell has just happened. It was also a little boring. At the end of the day, I got two 14-year-old kids here, and they wouldn't watch it. So that should really tell you everything, because really, that's Marvel's demographic. I know it tends to be 40-year-old men, but really, it should be 14, 15-year-old boys, and they can't even keep them interested. DC have maybe made one decent superhero movie for me, and that is Shazam. I know people love Aquaman, but to be honest, I love Jason Momoa. I didn't love the movie. I haven't really enjoyed any of their forays into the superhero movie, and Suicide Squad, particularly the second one, is one of the worst movies I've ever watched. So DC creating Blue Beetle, which was just derivative and basically them trying to cherry pick from other movies and thinking that that would make some sort of hybridized brilliance, is just a joke. We have people like James Gunn telling us that the Flash movie was the greatest superhero movie he'd ever seen. I actually am very worried about DC's future if they genuinely believe that. Other than maybe the most recent Batman movie, which, again, if they took about 30 minutes out of it, would have been a really good film. It was a bit too long and a bit too drawn out in places. Other than that, everything they seem to be doing is just awful. Peacemaker, I actually loved. But I am in the minority, it seems. A lot of people really hated it. Again, though, it may be just because I love John Cena. I'm not sure. So, the problem is not superhero fatigue. Even though, yeah, okay, we do seem to be getting tired of it. But I would say we're getting tired of it because what Marvel and DC have been producing is crap. And that's the problem. That's the fatigue. We're exhausted of the rubbish. Basically, for Marvel, since the Russo brothers actually finished the Thanos saga, they've really not had a direction. They don't really seem to know where they're going. They always had the Infinity Wars as the end goal, and it seemed to keep them on track. We were going to have this new saga, but the actors' antics seemed to have ruined that. So they seem to be meandering. They seem to be almost fearful of superhero fatigue and trying to do things that are different to try and, maybe avoid it. But by doing things that are different, unfortunately, they've done things that are just not good. They just have lost their mojo. But I keep expecting them to fix it. I keep expecting Kevin Feige to come down on them like a ton of bricks, go, right, I've let you lot run the roost now. I've let you little kids run around, but now I'm back in charge and I'm going to get this sorted. Secret Invasion came out, and I genuinely believed that was going to be them getting back on track. And it was rubbish. Doctor Strange 2 really should have been a no-brainer. And it was rubbish. Marvel only seem to be able to make a good film if they're making it with somebody else. Sony have dragged 3 really good Spider-Man movies out of them. But they can't make a Venom movie to save their lives. So really, I am concerned about the superhero genre. I really think we are currently in a dark age for it. And I'm just hoping that maybe James Gunn can save it for DC. And that Kevin Feige really does come down and kick some ass and get them back on track. We need less superhero movies. We need less superhero TV shows. And they do seem to have heard that. They do seem to be trying to slow down the calendar a little bit and giving us a little bit less. There has been way too much quantity and not enough quality. And you can see that in the CGI. Just look at The Flash. The CGI is an absolute joke, and it's because they're underpaid, overworked, and don't have time to actually finish the job. The CGI is a symptom of a much bigger problem. A problem that Marvel and DC really, really need to sort out because their parent companies, Warner Brothers and Disney, in the case of Marvel, need them to desperately. And if they don't, the parent companies are really going to have problems. And as consumers, we're going to lose out on something that we dearly love. Because let's be honest, a good superhero movie, that's the summer blockbuster you want. And I just feel like we might not get many in the future. But let's hope. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out so you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/sidetrack, where most of our new videos appear first, and you get to see them without the adverts before everyone else for a small contribution each month that really helps the channel. Also, you can go to sidetrack.co.uk, which is our dedicated website. Stories related to all of our videos appear there, and we, add a little bit more content for, that meat on the bones for you to chew on. So please go and check it out. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.